Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Doug at Lakeside Ranch. I got a little job going. I'm in the basement utility room of the big house. If you watched the Sunday video, you know the big house I'm talking about. Chatted with Dan Electro 68 this morning, and I promised him I'd put something together here. So let me show you what I'm up to. And again, I'm working at a building built in 1908. So today we're working on heat. We're putting in a brand new state-of-the-art system that the guys that built this house would roll over in their grave if they knew what I was doing. So let me show you what I got going on. Okay, first of all, just as a baseline, this is a 4-unit building. Therefore, there are 4 water meters that you're looking at in this picture. Nothing to do with heat, obviously, but I want to show you this because this is kind of cool. This building is entirely set up with a common area to accept all the mechanical stuff. I have all the water on this side of the building. On the opposite side of the building, I have all the electrical. So, just as a side note, and we are working with natural gas. Natural gas is purchased by the cubic foot, and that comes through this meter, which is installed by the utility company at absolutely no charge to me, and they're replaced every 7 years. They rebuild them and replace them. They have serial numbers on them, and they have a automated program so that they can read these things driving by. They never have to come into the building. Once a year, however, and I think you can see that. Once a year they come in and they inspect all the gas fittings. And K.E. Robinson 2 will be all over all this cool plumbing because this place is a plumber's dream. I have black iron, I have copper, all the way up to 2-inch. I have a ton of PVC Schedule 40. There's just a menagerie of stuff going on here. And one more while we're on the subject of BTUs. Here's another brand new piece. So you want to be a landlord? Well, here's one of the commodities that you keep in stock, because you never know when you're going to get the call. And the dreaded call is, "Hi Doug, I don't have any hot water." So there you go. One brandy new, state-of-the-art 2012 natural gas fired 40-gallon water heater. And yeah, it's rated, it's new, and I'm lucky with these. I have, in this building I have 4, but around the circuit I have several more, but of late I've had 12 years on one of them. This is a, there you go, little shot for the folks that wonder what I'm buying. That's what I'm buying. So, okay, enough of that. I apologize for the cobwebs, guys. This place is, like I said, 1908 vintage. You can see the walls are covered with matchboards. Okay, no plywood back in the day. There's support beams that look like that. They're made out of trees, but they hold up. An absolutely amazing structure. Okay, so without further ado, Neil, this one's for you, buddy. This is a brand new Ducane warm air furnace. Naturally gas fired. Oh, I'm sorry about the shadow, guys. I'm in a tight spot here. I can't really. There we go. Let's do it like this. Okay, there you go. Ducane is owned by Lennox Corporation. Lennox makes all kinds of gas-fired appliances. They make cooking stuff. They make all kinds of neat things. This is a 80% upflow warm air furnace. This thing I purchased from a heating contractor, buddy of mine, who installed it in a new home. And believe it or not, due to the economy and due to situations beyond his control, this machine was repossessed from the building because the bank took it back, and took the building back, of course, and obviously he needed to get paid. So he pulled it out. He called me, and I said, geez, you know, I got to put a system in the shop. So here we are. This is the giveaway on these new high efficiency guys. This is only 4-inch pipe. the unit that used to be in here had a 7-inch exhaust. This is draft induced. Let me take this cover off of here. There you go. This thing has a fully draft induced system, which is what you're looking at there. It's a little blower motor which operates to enlist that the draft is working properly before the gas valve opens and the fire comes on. And I've been working on this thing all day today. Today is Tuesday, and I'm at the point now where the gas connections are done. There's the gas valve, there's the line, there's the outside view, the drip tee coming up to a union right there, up to a reducing bushing, up to a code compliant brandy new gas valve, and from there we go up to the sky, and we're making up to 1.25 inch black. It's taking us all the way back to the source meter right there, which is fed with 2.5 inch pipe. So it's about volume with gas. Gas is very low pressure, but you need a certain amount of volume to make it operate. This unit, just as a side note, I replaced this one a couple of years ago. This one heats the upstairs on this side of the building. This again is an upflow unit. It has direct ignition. There's no standing pilots in these things, and off it goes into the big chimney, which you can see there. And you can see the shiny new pipe, which has been reduced because that's my new furnace connection for the exhaust for this machine. The one above it is the 3-inch pipe, which takes care of the water heater I showed you a minute ago. Now, one of the unique things that I have to contend with here is I'm making up to the old cold air return in part of it, which I'm pulling from up here on the ceiling, and that's coming down through a 12-inch pipe, dropping down here, and I made myself a filter box, which is right there. And at the end of this thing, I'll give you a little overview on some of the tools I use to work with this metal, because this is 22 gauge stuff. It's not real heavy. You don't weld it together. It's actually held together with Tech screws. And if you look right here, there you go. There's one of your Tech screws. And they look like they're self-drilling, and I just blast them in with a little Hilti gun. That's all it is, a little guy like that. Got a real sharp point on it. They zip right in. You have to be able to take the connections apart. That's the reason that we go to the trouble to do this. Also because of, see right there? That's a damper. What we're looking at is this lever. This controls the amount of airflow that's going through this particular pipe. This is 6-inch pipe. This is 4-inch pipe. And that's 10-inch pipe. So all the branches are going to go that way, and I have to transition from the 6-inch new supply into the old 10-inch, which is what you're looking at up here. See that funny looking collar? It looks like part of a funnel. Well, that fits right inside the old pipe. And there's an old return. That's how they look in the old days. So again, this is one heating system, one of 4. And we're doing a transition here. This is what I've got left to do. I've got all this done before we turn the camera on today. I'm reusing some ductwork that I had from another job. And as you can see, I got the elbows pretty much configured where I need to go. And then we're going to take this section of pipe here, which is a 5-footer, connect up to our adjustable elbow right there. And he's going to go over to the hole in the plenum. Now the plenum is that box that sits on top of the furnace for all the guys that want to become HVAC armchair quarterbacks. We make this stuff. You buy flat stock, you bend it up, you pinch it, and you stick it on there. No big deal. And let me show you, actually you can see one here. That's called a starting collar. See the flange with the screws? That's what the elbow receives, and away we go. This is an older piece that I salvaged from another unit. But again, It's perfectly good. There's nothing wrong with it. That's called a takeoff. And what that's going to do is going to eliminate me having to take this configuration. This is what they look like when you start. That's your collar. Get a little better view for you here. There you go. There's your collar. It has an adhesive seal. It screws right to the plenum of the furnace, and there's an adjustable elbow that's already tied into it, all set to go. So this piece that I just showed you is going to mount like this onto the side of the plenum. That's the last run, and then the final piece is going to go here, where you can see I have it capped off right now, and that is going to run up and make up to the one on the left side. And from there, let's go to the other room and I'll show you where this circuit goes. You want 1908 architecture. This is a basement. This is how things were done in the old days. The basement stairs are finished. Look at the Newel post. That thing is a 6x6 turned. This is all made out of fir. And I mean, the stuff is absolutely gorgeous. This is not habitable down here, because apartments must have 2 egresses. But this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. It's just totally amazing. Okay, onto the junky side of the job. Here is a transition that you saw on the other side of this wall, which is coming up, and I need to pick up at the ceiling, because this is a used piece right here. See the difference in the color of the metal? And I joined it up, and I used to have a supply here from another system, which that's been terminated. I made a cap for it, screwed it together, it's buttoned off. Here's another takeoff. That's going to be for a heat register that's going to be in this room that I'm standing in right now, which is approximately 12 by 14. Then we transition out of that into this fine piece, which is actually, if I get over here, you can see what's going on here. And you guys that do body and fabrication will like this. There's a straight piece of ductwork, and what it does is it transitions down to a smaller size, and it transitions from both sides equally. And then we take this fine elbow here, make a 90-degree turn, and we go through the wall. Now this is all ready to go. This is actually piped and working, but I don't have any supplies done. And there's the last piece as we come through the wall over to here, and you can see right there it's sitting on my jack, because that's my helper. Because this stuff is you know, a pain to work with by yourself, but you improvise and you get it done. The next piece that's going to be married to that is right there. Another 90-degree L, and then we're going to go straight out into the next section, which is back here. And to get that done, we need a couple more sections. This is what the ductwork looks like when you initially receive shipment of it. It's not assembled, it snaps together, and it locks down with these cool little lock bars, which is this stuff right here. You just cut it off with your snips and away you go. And I know somebody is wondering from the beginning of the video, how'd you get the holes in the plenum, Doug? There's the cutout. And there's a few more of them. And these are all, this is 22 gauge. And the way that's done, believe it or not, cordless drill. Yep. And this guy right here. This is a circle cutter. Let me get over here in the light. Okay. On the top of the bench grinder, that's good for up the field, huh? What happens is this thing has a drill bit in it. Yeah, we can probably do a little better with this. Okay, it's a little sharp, so I don't want to cut myself with this. The drill bit is actually, it looks like a regular drill bit, but what it is, it cuts on the flute. The tip will drill a pilot hole, but the side of the flutes of the drill actually cut the sheet metal. And so what happens is this thing goes into the pilot hole. There's your pilot, and it's adjustable. It'll cut up to 16 inches. And what you do is you spin it around with the drill, which is tied to the shaft up here at the top, and there's a bearing in there, and that's what cuts out the disc. And it comes out exact every time. And there's even a little foot on it, you can see right there. And that foot keeps the metal as a lead edge so that you don't fight it. And all your cuts are made in a clockwise direction. They come out perfect every single time. You set it once and forget it. Even with these collars, these are the adjustable type starting collars that you would put on an existing plenum if you were adding another circuit or adding another zone or another supply. I like the ones with the seal on them because you can just slam them on there, put 4 screws in them, and you're done. So that pretty much covers it for that. And because I had great success today with one of my professionally employed tenants was home, and he was able to get over here a little bit earlier and actually make up the wiring. So if you look, you can see we have, start down the bottom, there's the service switch right there. There's the thermostat wire, the little white guy, coming up through a piece of EMT, making the bend, because I told him I got to put some more pipe in here. A little extra thermostat wire, that never hurts. Up to the existing old stuff, and then terminating up on the ceiling. So right now at this point, this burner is alive and has a brand new circuit that's fed back to right there. That goes right back to the panel. That's what's called a home run. All the electrical service is in the next unit on the other side. I don't have any access here. All the breakers are on the other side, all 5 panels. So, excuse me, what I wanted to show you real quick is that we should be in a position here to see if this thing will come on. Okay, you can hear the ignition sequence. The draft inducer is running. That's what the little fan noise is. That's making sure that we have a draft going through the exhaust. The next thing that's going to happen is the hot surface ignition is going to light, which you can see a glow right there. And next is you're going to hear a click. There's the main gas valve. We have ignition, and we have fire. Okay, there it is. This is a 2-tube burner. All right. Look at how clean it burns. High efficiency. This is the way to fly, so all your money isn't going up the chimney. So, there you have it. Quick and dirty. I'm going to cut this off so I can load it up for you. Last thing I want to show you really quick is just, I'll do a separate video if anybody's interested, but I want to show you a couple of the basic hand tools that you use for the metalwork. And I got a couple of them here. So I'll bring this up on the other side. I apologize. I should have done a better job of staging this stuff up for you. But in any case, you'll get the idea. Okay, and I think I can do this one-handed. First off, with the metal, when you're trying to crimp the joints together and close down the seams, for instance, with this stuff, see there's a seam there in the end of the metal that needs to be closed. That'll focus. It's going to focus on the plywood for us. That's the crimp joint on the end, and probably a better view of it would be here on the actual duct. As you can see, the edges, as they go together, get a little dinged up. Well, all that's totally repairable with our little crimp tool, which is this guy. And he's gauged. See, there's little notches on the jaw, and the jaw allows for the depth that you need to go to. So he's your best friend. He's like a little brake, but again, he's handheld. The next piece, which is really cool, is called the diminishing tool. It looks like a pair of tin snips, but in fact, it has 3 jaws, or 3 blades. On the opposite side, it has 2 blades. What happens is, when you squeeze it together, it makes the serrated edge, which this is actually the factory one. But the tool I just showed you replicates that in the field, because once you cut the pipe, you sacrifice that edge, which is what fits into your fittings. So the tool I showed you is the guy that makes that happen in the field, because if you got a piece of pipe hanging out that you just cut back with your grinder or your air whizzer, and you need to diminish it so you can get a fitting on it, this guy is your best friend. So that's the purpose of that guy. Okay, enough. I'm going to shut it off. Thanks for watching. I'll get one more up today in my spare time, and that's going to be a quickie for Chief in Hawaii, because he asked me about a something he didn't understand about one of the doorways. But before you leave me, let me pull out a piece that came with the house. And Tommy Shu will enjoy this. I don't know if he watches my videos, but this is an old school, painted up now, but what it is, it's a little old school can. How crazy is that? A little handle on the back, made out of galvanized metal, little metal cap on there, little spout soldered, and let it up as gasoline. How crazy is that? I found this in the closet in the upstairs apartment on the other side of this building. It was behind a couple things, and I just don't think anybody had ever really thought anything about it. They just kind of left it behind. They didn't even know it was there. But yeah, so okay, that's enough. I'll talk to you guys later.